podcast where we talk about the things that are hidden in the shadows. I am Isaac.
And I'm Megan.
And if you heard that creepy-ass music in the beginning of it, that's something I put together.
Yep, it's going to be our new intro and outro music.
Yeah.
So, just to set the vibe, get the feels.
It might be going on right now, depending on how we edit it, but... That's our theme music for this podcast. Yeah. I know we didn't have theme music for Not Your Average Conversation, but I'm trying to think of
or even
on that.
I was thinking of something, but it made no sense, so never mind.
Now, if you can hear us a little bit better, we actually have little mic stands now.
Yeah.
Yeah, more professional looking.
Yeah.
Like Megan might post an image on Instagram or something.
Yep, once these apps on my phone. I don't know why my phone today has just been...
No, what I was missing is the microphone little fuzzy cover things, and then I'll be set.
Yeah.
Well, then we need more professional mics, but I'm not spending $110 yet. No, it's more than that. Anyway, this episode is all about paranormal investigating and paranormal investigators.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, this is kind of like a two-part episode. We're going to be focusing on overall on paranormal investigating, but kind of like how Hollywood and how movies and TV shows adapted paranormal investigating. And then we're going to have another episode where we literally have gathered tips about starting a paranormal investigating experiences that certain paranormal investigators have had. We're going to actually talk to paranormal investigators, real paranormal investigators that do it as a hobby and everything, and then slam it all in an episode for you.
Yeah, this is the next one, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, this is going to be episode 4. So this is the second part to this is going to be episode 4. So the first episode that we release, other than the launch, is going to be that.
They're releasing 3, not 4.
Yeah, 3. The first episode after the launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With all paranormal investigating and paranormal investigators, anyone can say that majority of people get into it because they watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I think it's an interest in it too. There's people that do it more professionally. I don't know. Do you know how Zach Bagans pegs in the paranormal community? Is he looked at because he does the TV shows? Is he looked at as a fraud, or is he the real deal? Is he the king of the paranormal? Or
out of the one, we're going to talk about paranormal shows in here in a minute. But to answer your question, out of the podcasts I listen to, the paranormal ones, they do not talk nice on Zach. They say he plays things up and he over exaggerates and he almost like he's overacting for something that doesn't need it, right?
I think though at the very, very beginning he was sincere, and I think a little bit towards now it's a little bit more Hollywoody.
Well, you gotta think of something. He was genuinely scared. Well, they all were when they first started this, the show, when they first started Ghost Adventures, which is my favorite of all paranormal shows.
Yeah.
But when they first started, they were genuinely scared. Mm-hmm. But now, 11 seasons later? Or I got more. I think there are 13.
Yeah, because I was young when they started.
They obviously have gotten used to it. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's something that generally scares them. But most of the stuff that they experience, they can shake it off. It's nothing new to them. So that's not entertaining. Yeah. People come to watch the show because they want to be entertained. Also, to see stuff that happen. Yeah. But, part of it is entertaining. And Zach himself... he needs to be a host of a show. He's got that voice. He's got that, swagger, I guess you would say, around him. That makes him a good host. So that's something that was found out about him after, watching his shows, and he probably found out about himself. So he has to play things up. I think they all do, right, to make the show more entertaining. So if you watch the early seasons of Ghost Adventures, you notice, generally they're fearful of what they're experiencing. But as it went on, of course, now they had to play everything up. And that's what frustrates, the ghost community or the paranormal investigator community, the ones that do it professionally and stuff like that. They get, frustrated, he's just acting it up and that's just like Hollywood, stuff like that. Well, not necessarily. And yes, at the same time, right? I like watching what they do because out of all the ghost shows, out of all I watched, right? Going now, segue to that. They're the most realistic out there.
Yeah.
when they do an investigation, right? Not the pre-show stuff where they talk to people and they do like little information, and of course like they have the scenes of like they have actors reenact like some of the stories they heard and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking the actual investigation when they're there. It's just them three, well now four, and they have tripods set up in different places, and you're basically following them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else there. There's no camera crews. There's no specialized stuff. There's no, Hollywood effects, anything like that. It's just them. That's why maybe not like Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, I started watching because my dad actually got me started into watching all that. We used to watch them like together, like Paranormal State. I used to like Paranormal State. I used to think the guy on the show was cute. That's why I started watching. I was like, oh, he's pretty cute. I used to watch that. There was a psychic that went on, or medium that went on Paranormal State. He actually had his own show, I think, where he discovered like kids that had psychic abilities. And it was like where he helped them like, deal with it. But I think I like Paranormal State. And then all the paranormal shows, I think it kind of gets that way, where it starts off genuine, and then like towards like, because obviously some paranormal investigations you're not going to get anything.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of Ghost Adventures episodes where they got nothing.
Problem. Yeah, I think that's the problem is the audience doesn't want nothing; they want something.
There was like 2 different episodes. There's one that did a lighthouse, nothing. They got nothing, and another one where they supposedly went to some people's place that. Were being attacked by demons, but that's how posted by Zach. He said something now that they're actually being investigated for child abuse. They're blaming what they experienced on demons when actually it was a mother who was beating the children. Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
There was an episode of Ghost Adventures where they went to a family's house they thought was being attacked by demons, and there was like ash written on the walls and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, now I get what you're saying.
And they were saying that they're being attacked by demons. They got nothing there. Nothing, not at all. Not even a little EV. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. And after watching the episode, I was watching. It's like the mom is fucking weird, right? And you think she might be abusing the kids. Come to find out, yeah, because the family's being investigated for that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, just because it shows some people might just look for their 5 minutes of fame with them. Yeah. So I guess Zach is more, or I guess the Ghost Avengers themselves are probably more stringent about who they investigate and stuff like that. But like I said, I've watched some episodes where they go to people's houses and they're actually dealing with someone who is possessed.
Oh, I think that would, ew. Like, I don't know what it is. I can't, I don't know if maybe the whole thing of feeling energies and feeling that has a problem with like that. But like if I watch like a real exorcism video or there's a episode, and you can attest to this, there's an episode that you were watching with Ghost Adventures recently, and the guy was like being like I don't know if he was fully possessed or started to get possessed, and the priest was like getting the demon out of him or whatever, and like I wanted to throw up. Like I was like remember I started getting like antsy and stuff, and yeah. I don't know what it is. I cannot play with that crap. Like that's the one thing I think that why I never went and paranormal investigated was strictly for that reason. I do not want to deal, that scares me.
Well, if we were ever to paranormal investigate, I'd probably not want to bring you, just because you might bring something home with you. That's the thing with the rules that most people don't know. If you want to go into, by the way, this is like almost a PSA for people who are thinking about being a paranormal investigator. I don't know any paranormal investigators myself personally. But I've read like rules, and the rules of just observation. Right?
Yeah.
Know where you're going to, right? Know the building, know the history, know what you're dealing with, right? If you go to a place that's infested with demons, essentially, bring yourself some holy water, bring some crosses, something like that to protect you. Otherwise, you're going to deal with some stuff you don't want to because they don't like you in their area. If you're dealing with children, ghosts like that, you know how to attract, or at least not track them, but make sure it's actually children, not a demon or something like that. Something that I would do is what was that prayer that protects you before you go in and out of places, like St. Michael or something?
I don't know it off the top of my head. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a prayer that apparently this one paranormal investigator group does that they use to protect themselves when they go in and out of places, so nothing attaches to them when they leave. Believe me, there's a lot of times I've seen YouTube paranormal investigators who go into places and they bring shit home with them.
Oh my gosh. And that's why I would like, because they actually had where when we start talking about like local paranormal stuff, there is a battleship. I want to say, don't hold me to it, I think it's a World War II battleship in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I've been on it multiple times for field trips and stuff like that. And we went on it with my dad, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, I think Ghost Hunters investigated it twice.
Ghost Adventures went to the one that's off West Virginia.
Oh, yeah. No, but they have this thing.
Not West Virginia, Virginia.
They have this thing every year. Actually, I've seen it at a couple different locations around the area where you can actually like buy tickets to paranormal investigate. So basically, you're buying to go paranormal investigate with the group. I don't know if I don't know if how sincere it is. Like it's like legit, like you're going to investigating, they lock you in, bye, or if it's kind of like a hokey pokey type of thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like if it's not like, because that one plantation house in between New Bern, I think I pointed it out to you. It was like a. Where they kept slaves, I think, or where like the main guy had slaves or something. I don't know, something like that. It dated back in that time because there's cotton fields all in the back area, and they say you can hear screams and stuff inside. They offer tours on Thursdays, I think.
That's the one thing that amateur paranormal investigators. Excuse me. Amateur.
Oh, this guy always burps on.
I just got done eating. All right, I like gas. It was Taco Bell too.
Taco Bell.
One thing that amateur, I guess, paranormal investigators make is not following the rules, but they also some of them provoke when they shouldn't, right? Just to get a reaction.
Yeah.
And a lot of them get shit attached to them when they leave. Because like Ghost Adventures, they talk to like in local paranormal investigators that might have investigated the place that they're going to before they go in, right? They've done that a couple of times already. And a lot of times they say, oh, I had something follow me home. Oh, I had something follow me home. And they show footage like of a guy actually getting possessed for like a couple of minutes. Right? Yeah. Because he was provoking. And it's actually been said 100 times, you don't provoke if you don't know what you're dealing with.
Yeah. I think...
You actually wrote a book. I want to get it.
Oh, yeah, Ghost Hunting for Dummies.
Paranormal Investigating for Dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think... Well... I kind of want to go. I kind of don't want to go, but I kind of want to go to that museum he has.
Oh, his haunted museum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like legit stuff in there, so I don't know if I really want to.
For you? Yeah.
I don't want to sense some crazy stuff. No, I remember, like, I know with me, when I go anywhere that's got like a high death rate, like hospitals, obviously a lot of people die in hospitals. Graveyards, obviously the dead is like right there, and I used to. There's this battleship called Fort Macon, or not battleship. It's a battlefield called Fort Macon, and I remember I just get really bad headaches, and it almost feels like a cold mixed with an allergy headache, like a head cold headache. But yeah, so. I could just imagine. Could you imagine if like they threw me in somewhere like Bobby Mackey's or something? Forget that. Forget it. I'd be toast.
I mean, I want to stop by Bobby Mackey's one time.
No.
But I remember I told a friend when we were in bands, when I was in bands, and we were talking about touring. I said, "Hey guys, if we go to Tennessee, we're not stopping. Where is it? I forgot where it is. Is it Knoxville, Tennessee?
Who? Bobby Mackey's?
Yeah, it was Kentucky. It's in Kentucky. Wilder, Kentucky. That's right. I said, we're not stopping in Wilder, Kentucky. He goes, what's there? I was like, Bobby Mackey's Music Hall. We're not playing there. I was like, why? It's like, it's infested with demons. Infested with demons. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, dude, they have a disclaimer sign in the front of the building.
Why, though? It's kind of interesting to know why, like, these certain places.
Bobby Mackey's? It's because it used to be a slaughterhouse, right, with cattle and stuff like that. It had this big pit. But they would drain all the blood that would go into the sewers, right? And I think the early 1800s. Hold on, I fixed my sock. I scratched my ankle. In the early 1800s, these two men, I forgot their names, they murdered one of the guy's wife. She was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
They decapitated her and threw her head down that hole as a sacrifice to Satan. Right?
Okay, well that explains a lot.
So you got a pit that, gallons of blood went consistently down all the time, and then you got a guy who killed his pregnant wife and threw her head down the thing as a sacrifice, right? And those guys went to jail, obviously, and things like that. But ever since then, right, before Bobby Mack has even opened it, people used it for satanic worship and sacrifices and stuff like that. And basically, it almost became like a portal.
Oh, all right, that makes sense.
Like, it consistently has problems. Like, the last time Ghost Adventures went there, well, last time I watched them go there, they tried to bless the under basement in the area where the well is, essentially, right? They kept hearing hissing, growling.
Get out of here.
And Nick and both Aaron were getting oppressed. This is when Nick was still part of the show.
Wow.
Yeah. They had to stop later. They had to stop filming so they can do a minor exorcism because the shit was happening.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I almost feel bad for. I mean, I guess it's like anything you get in this kind of line of work, and so it's like almost expected that stuff's gonna happen. But Lord, I feel bad for any girlfriend of Zach Bagan's.
I mean, he's told stories about
like I could just imagine because that's like if any demons followed him, that's like a trigger thing.
He said he had a girlfriend one time that she was wearing a rosary, and it ripped off her, and apparently it dragged into her bedroom with the door closed on itself.
Wait, what?
He's saying that he had a girlfriend over at his place one time, and she had a rosary on.
Yeah, she had a rosary.
It got ripped off her, right?
The rosary.
The rosary got ripped off, and it basically disappeared, and they found it in a room with the door closed, lying on the floor.
Oh my God, that gives me chills. Like,
Well, Zach is he's in that business.
But I guess at the same time, when you date someone like that, you're gonna know, like, hey, yeah, we might be joined by more people than just me and you.
And I don't know if you guys are listening and getting annoyed that we keep talking about Ghost Adventures, but in all honesty, that's really the only show I watch.
Yeah.
When it comes to paranormal investigating. I tried watching Ghost Hunters, but like I said, there's a film crew that follows them around, and I find it's not real enough.
Well, no, at the very beginning, I liked Ghost Hunters, but then again, that was kind of like the beginning of all those types of shows. Like, no, I mean, Paranormal State, which I'm so disappointed because I used to like how they did everything, because I think they went to more, I'm trying to remember. It was a really long time ago.
We'll say this.
They went to more of like malicious spirits and evil spirits, and they actually went to people's homes that had problems.
Well, it's like I think Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters are kind of like the Pepsi and Cola of paranormal investigation, or like the WWE and WCW.
That's it.
And everything else is secondhand. Probably like what Paranormal State's like the RC Cola.
Oh my God, no! It's like IBC cream soda.
Yeah. No, it's like, I'm talking about cola drink. I don't talk about.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
no, because they were in a different little category. Because they were paranormal, but they did it differently than. And I like that psychic guy that medium guy that they would bring on.
I think there was a guy.
No, who was the one that would bring in Lorraine Warren? Who was the one that would bring her in?
Ghost Adventures had their son. They never had.
No, Paranormal State. I think I gotta look.
Well,
she
alive?
No, she died.
No.
My dad, funny enough, saw her.
Yeah.
Before.
No, the son. He brought Annabelle to a Ghost Adventures investigation.
Oh my! What?
The actual Annabelle.
Get out of here!
He had to carry her with gloves in a special case. Right. He told Zach not to touch her.
Ew.
Right. And for whatever reason, in the investigation, Zach touched her leg. He grazed it with his hand. He said that hand actually got infected with something. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh wow, they Lorraine Lauren did a lot of stuff. I didn't realize.
Well, they're the OG paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, like I said, when they came to investigating stuff, they were the OGs. They basically created a trade for a lot of people even when people thought they were crazy and stuff like that. What are you looking at?
What show she was on? I think she was on Paranormal State.
No. What was that saying? Yeah, the Warrens. Like people seen a little bit from the Hollywood, from like the movies that they were in.
Yeah, it was because they.
Paranormal State.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Now, Ghost Hunters actually hold. I think you think about the top 5 videos, paranormal videos that people have caught on camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Hunters owns the top 3, right?
Yeah.
I think 2 of them. But the one I'm thinking about is one of the first episodes I ever saw from them. I think it was an early season, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were investigating a lighthouse. I don't know which lighthouse it was. I forget what it was. But one of the guys was upstairs, and I guess like the upper attic or room of the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a big circle room, empty room. There was a chair next to the door. So the investigator was in there with the we call it digital recorder. He drags the chair from the side of the door to the center of the room while he sits there with the digital recorder, tries to catch stuff. Didn't, right? So he leaves. There's a camera in there too, but aiming at the door from the back of the room. So basically you get to see the whole room and the front door where it's aimed at, or the door he came out of.
Mm-hmm.
So he leaves, right? And as he leaves, you hear him walking down the stairs. And as soon as the stairs become faint enough that you know he's downstairs, you see the chair slide from the center of the room back to the side of the door perfectly. Like, all the way to the side. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Condensation.
No, my hand's like losing a weird feeling. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it slid across the fucking room.
Ugh.
And I saw that camera, like, holy crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Ghost Adventures have their the famous flying brick.
Yeah. From
their first ever documentary they ever did, right? It wasn't even a show yet. It was just them doing a documentary on the Goldfield Hotel, right? And they got that flying brick in the basement that people consistently try to debunk. But no, they can't. And one guy said all he did was string and stuff like that. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. In the direction the brick flew, plus the boards flying at the same time, the boards would have fell on the string that the brick flew on, and they would have been like suspended. You would see the boards fall on something and basically just stay there. So no, it can't be a string.
Mm.
That documentary thing. Whew,
yeah.
That was like, I guess that's what originally got we call Travel Channel to sign in the first place.
Yeah. So, kind of like moving to a different. So we talked a little bit about TV shows, like actual like paranormal investigators.
I know what I want to talk about.
What?
The equipment.
Oh, the equipment.
Yeah, there's a lot of equipment out there. Everything from a we call it spirit box, which essentially is a radio scanner that skips through stations at a fast pace to create consistent static so spirits can talk through.
Yeah. Which in that episode that we talk with, we're not going to actually have the paranormal investigators on the podcast, but we're going to talk to them previously through like DMs and comments and stuff like that, videos, that kind of thing. And we're going to get their perspective. But that is one of the questions that we're going to ask them is like, what equipment is particular to them? Like, what did they use?
What do they use? Yeah. Of course, there's the good old digital recorder. They're high microphones recorder. They can pick up everything in a room very clearly and very distinctly. Like if you, like I did an SPD fart in another room, they could probably pick it up on a digital recorder.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So those are always good for catching EVPs, right? Electro voice phenomenons. And stuff that literally can't be picked up with the human ear, right? The frequency is low. There's the, we call it, what's that thing? The phonetic box. It's not a spirit box. I forgot the name of it. It's a box. Essentially, it's like a speak and spell in a sense that a spirit will push power through it, and it'll say out words they're trying to say. I forgot the name of it. Ghost Adventures use it every now and then. They used to use it a lot in the early episodes, but not so much anymore. Yeah. Now they've been using the kinetic camera. The originally Xbox Kinetic. Remember when they used to map out you out and you can see your body when you're playing in video games, right? Apparently that technology can also pick up spirits.
Wow.
Never was intended for that, but it started picking at people that weren't there. So ghost hunting crews started using it.
Kind of. Have you seen? This is kind of a little bit like it's not professional or anything, but have you seen those Snapchats where like it'll put it on a face, like the dog thing, right? There's a couple of them where it will pick up faces Like, I don't know, ghost faces, I don't know.
Yeah, so I've seen the memes.
We're just like, oh my god!
Yeah. Like it swaps a face with you when you're trying to do it like an action figure or a toy or something, and it swaps with like a face in the shadow, and it puts on your face.
Ew, I did not know that one. That was creepy as hell.
Yeah, I remember. So I don't know if it's real or not, but what happened is that it swapped the chick's face with whatever's in the shadow, and the face that came on her face was all white with no like black eyes and open mouth of black, and she's freaking screamed like through the camera.
Would too.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
No, like, I get kind of creeped out. Like, I kind of want to do it, but then I kind of get creeped out. You know, like that, I think it's a TikTok filter, where, like, it senses, like, the heat, your body's heat.
Yeah, infrared.
You know, like, infrared, yeah. But it picks it up. And, like, people are, like, literally seeing things with the infrared filter. So, I don't know. Oh, that's something we could do as, like, something on Instagram. Like, test out these little paranormal things in our house, see if anything pops up, share it on Instagram, see if they work. I kind of, even though, I don't know.
More equipment.
Yeah.
Infrared camera, right?
Uh-huh.
Stuff you can see in the dark, basically like a night vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people use, so you can see stuff in the dark, right? And you got the heat red, or, body heat detector, which you can usually detect cold spots. Then you got the, we call it the ultraviolet camera now, which you take pictures with or use to see in a different spectrum, right? So, there's plenty more equipment I can't even think of right now.
Yeah, no, there's a lot, and we'll get extensively into all that stuff once I'm going to reach out, like, when I mean to a bunch of different paranormal investigators, there's, like,
There's a lot of stuff Ghost Adventures have used that, like, once in a while, I'm like, holy crap, they have inventors and electric engineers that bring them stuff every now and then.
Yeah. I even messaged Zach Bagans, but I doubt he's gonna. If he does, that would be freaking awesome. But he's a busy man and probably gets 25,000 DMs a day.
And just something I just remembered right now. Something that we have to let people know with paranormal investigating, right? You're not always going to catch stuff when you go to a haunted place.
Yeah.
Paranormal and ghosts, as we've experienced, is, well, at least here anyway, it's not consistent.
Oh no, it's not consistent.
It'll happen rapidly for like maybe a month and then disappear for 9.
Well, here, like, this is a good example. Is a couple nights ago, the paranormal stuff was like through the roof. Like, I was hearing voices, I was getting touched, I was hearing my name being called, hearing footsteps. My son was talking to random things, and every night it's dying down more and more. So, even though last night I got freaked out because he was like, laughing at something, and I was like, okay, nothing's there. Maybe he's just like imagining, like kids at that age too can, whatchamacallit, like make imaginary friends and all that stuff, in their head. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe, but he was being chased by playfully being chased by someone. Freaky. Freaked me out. I was like, Killian, get over here. I don't know what's over there, but...
Well, it's like the places we've lived, right? So like some of the activity would be really high, and then it would disappear for like 4 or 5 months, and then come back. And it's like here, I remember we had like a whole gap space of like 9 months of nothing.
Yeah. And I don't know, because I've said in the first episode, I'm kind of digging more into my whole sensitivity thing and some of the stuff, kind of new concepts that I'm kind of learning about myself. Like I said, I've reached out to somebody who is in the same boat as me, kind of, and we're just kind of exchanging information. I think the deeper I dig, I noticed the more, there was one day where we were really talking, I was talking to her about all my experiences. We were really digging into deep conversations about stuff, and paranormal activity was really high that night. So that's what I messaged her, and I was like, hey, more and more I talk to you, the creepier the stuff is getting.
I just remember something too. When you're for the beginner paranormal investigator, when you go to a place that's relatively haunted and stuff like that, and you go there, don't take anything home with you.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Physically, anything, right? Because then you have a haunted object and they're following you specifically home to get that back.
Here's another thing too, and I think it's super important, is I think if you're going to a place at night, you need to know where, like, go in the daytime and map out like your area, know your surrounding. Like if there's like floorboards that you know are loose that you could get stuck in, you know what I mean, or know where exits are in case you have to get out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, at nighttime, it's 10 times harder to know where you're going.
Well, paranormal investigating in places that are abandoned or half like falling apart or destroyed or something like that, you're half a paranormal investigator, half urban explorer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go in a place that you need to be able to maneuver properly without falling through a floor or, getting caught on something, or you have to climb up somewhere to get to some place that's specifically where you need to go. Like some of the videos I watched, there's actually a paranormal investigator group from Russia who they're like that. They're like half urban explorer, half paranormal investigator. So they carry bags with them. They're almost like parkour guys, so they can get up high places that are pretty high. They carry equipment with them that helps them get to places.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I watched a recent video where they investigated this abandoned school somewhere in Russia. I don't know where it is. And they showed camera footage of them entering an area of room where all these like kids' chairs and stuff were scattered on the floor, upside down. It looked like half were broken. And they come back an hour later to that same room, and all the chairs are neatly put away. The little chairs are in a perfect circle, and they get close, and they hear a little kid laugh in the distance, and they get close to those chairs, and the chairs scatter off in different directions.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wonder if you have to get like permission from someone to go into an abandoned building. I know some people.
Sometimes they don't ask permission and just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like how you have like trespassing and stuff. Like I know there's certain places that probably allow it, but then they probably do it for like safety reasons because they don't know. Have you ever seen that abandoned? I actually went down the like rabbit hole of that urban exploring. Yeah, there's a couple of channels that I actually enjoyed. I can't think of the name. Like there was one guy that would actually like whatchamacallit, like urban explore rivers and stuff, like bodies of water. And he would go into like a scuba thing, and he would go and he would see what's underwater, and sometimes he would like bring certain things up to see what it is. There's another group that does it's like urban exploring mixed with like collecting. They go and they like go in the rivers and they collect the stuff, but they also explore it too. But there's this one where they went into this, I don't know if it was an aquarium, a zoo, or an old thing, but they found like, I don't think it was the size of a megalodon, but it was a huge shark, and it was just in this tank. I don't know if it was, I think it was dead. It was just like stuck in there. It was I know I was getting a little freaked out by it.
Well, I mean, I was going to say before you went off that tangent.
Sorry.
When you're watching stuff on YouTube and videos with people who claim to be paranormal investigating, or even people who are investigating their own home, you have to be able to watch and see if you're watching something that's fake.
Yeah.
And it's, what do you call it, like video editing and stuff like that have gotten so good. It's getting hard these days.
Yeah.
Right? Usually you can tell by the people and how the camera is angled and how it looks. Like if someone is deliberately putting the camera in a certain area to look like they're trying to catch something, because they're putting something in that image of them trying to catch something because they're making an image there. Right? So that's how you tell it's fake. Sometimes when the camera guy gets lucky, or the camera's pointing to where he's looking, and then something pops and happens without like you paying much close attention to it, most of the time that's real. Right? Or someone's using their techniques to fake something. But because of so much CGI work and so much stuff like that, it's getting harder to tell it's real or not. So most people are just saying it's all fake. Even though you might have genuinely something real, right? 100% real, unfaked in every single way, someone's going to say it's fake.
Yeah, weird.
Which is becoming a problem, right?
Yeah.
I know it must be frustration for paranormal investigators. The most they can catch is like EVPs and stuff that's happening in the moment. Another thing too, the people who are want to be scientifically proven, which they're using scientific equipment to prove that exists, and they've actually been proven with scientific equipment that measures changes in temperature, changes in electromagnetic field, all that stuff.
Yeah. And there's also, too, it's not just ghosts. I mean, there's people that are trying to prove mermaids exist or aliens exist or stuff like that, too. But I kind of wanted to touch up, too, our opinions on... Okay, so you have TV shows, and it's relatively based on truth. You know, like Ghost Adventures are actually going out there. And how do you think Hollywood portrays paranormal situations?
Well, they're movies. They got it to hype it up. Like you watched, what was the dang movie? I can't remember. Ed and Lorraine Warren, they go to that person's house. The Conjuring, right? Mm-hmm. How they hyped it up. Even The Conjuring 2, right? Mm-hmm. How they hyped it up. And I guarantee in real life, that stuff happened, but not to that extent. It's a movie. They have to play everything up to the highest level for entertainment.
Yeah.
So Ed and Lorraine Warren went to that family's house to help that woman with the land haunted and whatever like that and dealing with the witch. I guarantee stuff happened, but not to that extent.
Not to The Conjuring?
That was The Conjuring.
I had to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, it happened like it was like the 80s or something.
Then again, I get kind of creeped out, so I
or 70s. I think it was the 70s.
I know we saw that in the movie theater together.
Yeah, it was the 70s or something. I can't remember the exact year.
I think it was the 70s.
Took place, but basically the land was cursed by a witch, right? And the witch possessed the mom, right? And Ed Warren, being a demonologist, was able to help with the exorcism.
No, I got goosebumps. The most intense.
There's footage somewhere of Ed actually performing an exorcism.
Yeah.
It's like real, like grainy. Of course, it's old, but yeah.
I think the movie that I don't know. I got freaked out by the very first couple of movies of Paranormal Activity. I thought that was like that. I think that crossed a line of the first ever kind of like paranormally movie that I ever saw that freaked me the fuck out was Blair Witch. I don't know what it is about like witches like that. Well, yeah. Well, it's the first found footage type of movie that made it big, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it
People
again.
thought it was real.
I watched it again as an adult, and of course, in this day and age where everything is like, you know, you look at like Paranormal Activity, which is a little bit different. It's still found footage style, but it's more to this time period.
Well, found footage style film, it makes people believe it's real or you're in the situation as it's happening, so it's more entertaining. I mean, it can be done poorly, it can be done well, depending on who does it.
I forgot what movie it was. It's a paranormal movie. I remember reading about it. But there's apparently a specific frequency that makes people nauseous, right? It's like you can do it and it'll make a person not feel well. And they had it in the background of the horror movie at different times. So when...
I heard about that. I don't know or what it was.
Yeah, I forgot what movie it was. I don't think it was a huge movie. I think it was like more of like a...
independent horror film?
Yeah, type of thing. That sounds like an independent horror film. Because that's kind of more, a little bit more. Is there any paranormal movie that you thought was like they just took the idea of paranormal and just totally ruined it?
Ghost Encounters. You ever see that?
No.
The first one was alright. Oh, excuse me.
Holy! Take Gas X.
I would come out the other side then.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Fireworks in the house might light the house on fire.
Grave Encounters. Sorry, not Ghost Encounters. Grave Encounters. Was like a found footage style shot film. Basically, paranormal investigators go to a place that actually is haunted. Mm-hmm. And we call it, they do an investigation. They find more than they should. Right. Mm-hmm. It gets really freaky, like otherworldly kind of style stuff, and the crew ends up dying and stuff like that, except for the main guy who disappears at the end. Yeah. Then he shows up in the second one. Spoiler warning. That was like overly done to the top, where it was just like you're watching a movie now.
Yeah.
Right? It's so entertaining, but I wouldn't call it a paranormal investigation film.
I think one experience I didn't tell. I don't know if I ever told you, but speaking of it, because it just made me think about one thing that freaks me the F out is like if you're, like in certain. I don't know if this ever happens to anybody else, but like where you're locked in a room, like you can't open the door, you're trying to get out and you can't open the door. That actually happened to me one time in William Street. That's the same house that the box moved down the hall, right? It was a box of encyclopedias. My mom and me were moving in. We decided to stay the night there when my sisters and my dad stayed back at the old house. And these are heavy encyclopedias. And we straight up saw the box shoot down the hallway. And I would say, other than maybe Spring Branch, that was the most haunted place that I lived in, other than when I was younger in the trailers. But another thing was when I had gotten in an argument with my mom, and she went in the room to tell me I had gone to sleep. She went in there to say, "Hey, cut out slamming stuff. I've had enough." And I said, "Look, I was asleep. I don't know what slamming stuff you heard," but she said she heard slamming stuff in the room. And I lost where I was going with this.
I know. I was like, where are you going?
What were you talking about?
Oh my God. That's a train of thought already.
Yeah.
No, investigations, you feeling ill or something.
Feeling ill.
Obviously, it was important enough, you remember.
No, it was a good story. Okay, it was... Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry. Okay, so in this bathroom, right, when we first moved in, we only lived in this house for about like 3 years, but it was an older house. And we started getting electrical problems where it wasn't a short, but the lights would cut off. And you know what's scary now that I think about almost every single house that I've ever lived in, the bathroom had electrical shorts. It started out not having electrical shorts and then over time had electrical shorts. I don't know, creepy coincidence. But so it would shut off. And I remember one time the light shut off and it was at night. So I was trying to get out and I couldn't get out of that bathroom door. It was like stuck. And then I remember my mom tried opening it and she was like, "Megan, what's going on? Let go of the door. Let go of the door." I was like, "Mom, I can't see. And I'm not pulling on the door." And then it ended up opening. That's where I was going. That's where I was going with it. Sorry, everybody. That house was also the house too. Because it was like we had a fence and there was like a wooded area, and me and a friend of mine, we said there was like urban legends that the house behind us was abandoned and that kids lived there for some reason, like dead kids, like paranormal kids, right? And so I remember one time we were there at the house by ourselves. My dad went to go pick up my mom for work, and we said, "You know what? We're dumb. We're stupid. We're young. Let's go up to the fence line and call out," right? So we went up to the fence line, right? And we were joking, saying, "Oh, haha, there's nothing here. There's nothing here." We're calling out like, "Oh, kids in the abandoned house, come get us." And we heard little kids running and little kids laughing.
Dumb.
Yeah, so, yeah, you gotta be careful when you start enticing spirits, because...
Now, you never paranormal investigated.
No.
But I have.
Yeah, I've never.
Well, technically, you kind of did. Remember when we got that app on our phone that looks for ghosts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It actually works like almost like a... Dang, I read the dang name of the box. Anyway, it basically, phonetics creates words that ghosts are trying to say to you. And you picked up when you went to the room or this bedroom over here, and you asked, "Who are you?" And it said, "Aunt." Yeah,
my aunt died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had asked it in one room. I said, "Who do I know you?" And they said, "Kind of," right? Mm. And so I said, and I started listing off, and they wouldn't say it. And so I went in the bedroom where a lot of stuff happens, a lot of like voices and footsteps and all that stuff. So I went in there, I said, "Hey, I don't know who this is. Can you give me like a name, or who are you to me, or whatever?" And it popped up Aunt.
Yeah.
Creepy. Yeah. And then too, there was even stuff connected to my grandpa that came up one time.
Yeah.
Like significant stuff that yeah, is weird.
Now, the one time I did wasn't my intention, right? Kind of happened by accident. It was a post-Halloween party. Mm-hmm. It was like the day after Halloween. Me and my brother and a friend who had a band at the time were practicing at his place. And his sister, who was a couple years younger, had all her friends over who were, I was a graduate of high school a couple of years already, had all of her friends over, which were high school kids, like junior, senior year, or whatever. And it was basically a post-Halloween party, and they're all hanging out because his house that he were practicing at is out in the boonies, so you know how his friends, they could play music loud as they want, they could drink, obviously, and stuff like that, no problem. So that was going on while we were practicing. Few of the guys that were invited to the party came over because they heard the music, started talking to us. They knew me, because everybody knew me in that small little town. And they were like, oh, hey, what's going on, stuff like that. And we're talking, and they were saying that Alyssa, which was one of the girls that were friends with his sister, wants to go investigate this house that she says is haunted from across from hers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew Alyssa a little bit because she was also a fellow rocker and she liked the music, so became a casual acquaintance in a sense. Anyway, I think Chris and Gabe stayed behind when I was like, I want to go check it out. Right? Gabe's like, oh, you're messing with that.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
So I think I rode with one of them in their car or something like that, and I knew a few of the kids there too. And we all drove over there, and it was this old abandoned house, right? Not locked or anything, right? The inside was kind of like falling apart almost, but still stable enough.
Yeah.
What was weird is that when we drove up there, everyone was kind of standing outside, and as I was walking towards the house, pitch black out there, mind you, moonlight's what we had for light. It looked like a orb flew over the house.
Okay.
I thought it was a shooting star, but it was so close it didn't make any sense. First weird thing, right? All these kids.
Oh, wait. Real quick. Yeah. This is the same town, right? You grew up in, which is the same where the ranches. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just so people know too.
That where this house was out in the boonies because she lived out in the boonies. It was like across from her, so about a good 500 yards away from her house. But she could still see it. She says the lights would come on at night. There's no electricity in that place.
Yeah.
So we went in. Actually, sorry, I didn't go in first. The group of kids that were there, a good 20 of them, were all huddled together as they slowly made their way towards the house. Now, I didn't know a few of the other guys already went into the house and were hiding.
Oh, my God.
So when the group of kids got to the front door and started piling in, they jumped out of the closet and scared the shit out of all of them. And they didn't go back in there. Of course, I went in there because I wanted to see what was going on. Never mind. I wanted to see what was going on, so I went in. Nothing going on. There's an old fridge, some stove stuff, a bunch of shit scattered on the floor. We went upstairs to the attic area where they said that most of the stuff happened. Right. So the closest story is father killed his kids in the attic.
Ew.
That was a story. When in reality, it might have been something less macabre.
Yeah.
But there were pictures and newspapers scattered all over the floor in the attic. Pictures of family members, newspapers from 1970s and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Just all scattered over the floor in the attic. I took a picture with my phone, and this was the early iPhone 3.
Yeah.
And it looked like I caught some orbs. I think that's about what the most I caught. And a few of the guys took pictures home with it. Dumb. And they didn't tell me they got any hauntings at their place or anything like that when they took the stuff home, but I thought it was a bad idea. But they didn't listen. I think that's about we got paranormal investigations for this episode because this is part 1, and then part 2 is going to be after we actually talk to people.
Yeah, so I'm literally gonna scour the internet and try and find every paranormal investigation team I can to compile a great episode for you guys to give you guys the best tips on if you guys start out, what you need to watch for.
Yeah.
The dangers of it, the pros and cons of it.
Hopefully some stories.
And some crazy stories too, I hope. Yeah. And because I know just following us, we got some people that paranormal investigate in the UK, some that do in the New England area in the United States. So.
Now, I know we usually wait to the end of the episode to draw for the next one, but we actually did it off the air or something. So,
we did it
because we want to know the next few episodes in advance so we can probably research a little bit. So next in this list of 3 episodes that you guys have gotten, this next one's going to be
Ouija boards.
No.
What?
It's not going to be Ouija boards.
What?
Nightmares and dreams.
Oh yeah, sorry, we changed it.
We didn't
Okay, hold on. What are you talking?
So the next episode is going to be
Nightmare and Dreams.
Nightmare and Dreams.
So I got some nightmares to tell you.
Yeah, so do I. Because the paranormal, believe me, it has a lot. It affects most people's dreams and nightmares. And a lot of people talk about when they have hauntings that they talk about.
Well, here's a
nightmares they have.
Crazy idea that not idea, but something I saw. Paranormal investigation or investigators have backed this up. I'm going to see if I can find the actual place that it states this so I can share it with you guys on Instagram. But they say that you cannot dream about people that you've never seen. So 9 times out of 10, if you dream someone's face that you've never seen, it's because it's a ghost that stares at you while you sleep. Whoa. Mind blown. Plus, I have a couple dreams that I've shared with a couple different mediums, and they actually think it's demonic dreams. Because I have where I can talk to...
Hey.
Sorry.
Save it for the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
So, it'll be pretty intense. So...
And if you're listening to, because we listen 3 episodes in a row, just wait to the next one. You should just click on to the next episode altogether. And we'll catch you weirdos in the next one.
Yep. Stay spooky.
Later.